जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे जय राधा माधव हरि राधा माधव हरि राधे जय राधा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद राधा माधव हरि की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् सुभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवते उत्तम श्लोके तिनष्टिकी। Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 9, Text number 11. Title is Brahma's Prayers for Creative Energy. Tam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita Hit Saroja Asre Sute Chita Prato Nanunatha Pumsam Yedadhyata Urugaya Vibhavayanti Tattadvapu Pranayase Sadanugrahaya. तं भक्ति योग परिभावित सरोज आसे सुते तपथो ननु नाथ पुंसाम् यद्दध्यातौरुगाय विभावयन्ति तत्तद्वपु प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय तं भक्ति योग परिभावित सरोज आसे सुते तपथो नथुनाथ पुंसम् तौर्गाय विभावयन्ति तत्तद्वपु प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय तं भक्ति योग परिभावित सरोज आश्रिते चितपथो ननुनाथ पुंसाम् यद्दध्यातौर्गाय विभावयन्ति तत्तद्वपु प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय तं भक्ति योग परिभावित सरोज आश्रे सुते चितपथो ननुनाथ पुंसाम् यद्दध्यातौर्गाय विभावयन्ति तत्तद्वपु प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय तं भक्ति योग परिभावित सरोज आसे सुते चितपथो ननुनाथ पुंसाम् यद्दध्यातौर्गाय विभावयन्ति तत्तद्वपु प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय तं भक्ति योग परिभावित सरोज आश्रे सुते चितपथो ननुनाथ पुंसाम् यद्दध्यातौर्गाय विभावयन्ति तत्तद्वपु सदनुग्रहाय. By word translation and support by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. On to you, Bhakti Yoga in devotional service. Pariyavita 100% gaze of the heart. Saroje you reside. Sutta Iksita seen through the ear. Patha the path. Nanu now. Natha O my Lord. Umsam of the devotees. Yat, yat, whichever. Hiya, by irritating. Te, yours. Urugaya, yes. Vibhavayanti, They specifically think of God, the very same, Bapu, transcendental form. Pranaya say, do you manifest Sat Anugrahaya to show your causeless mercy. Translation, O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. Please repeat, O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts becomes cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. The prayers of Brahma are continuing into the creative energy and the Lord Himself. And so today's verses is mm, again diverting towards the devotees about people in general, and today he talks about the devotees. So your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing. Does not have to be present to see. Through the process of hearing also God can be seen. So that's what he talks about. God every time when they hear and read the knowledge. And when they do that, they are cleansed. So this is the process. Attentive hearing cleanses the living entity. If we hear it properly with full attention, and when the body is cleansed, the Lord takes seat on the heart. Their heart become cleansed and you take seat over there. That's what this Bhagavatam says at the beginning. By this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. Attentively hears the Bhagavatam or reads it, takes the seat in his heart forever. Such is the process of hearing. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. So devotees have many different desires. According to these desires, Lord has also many different forms. So one of the form Lord manifests to a particular devotee. Devotee is always like particular form. They always think of Krishna, but there are various forms. But one form one has to take, just like we take the form of Radha Madhava Hari here. So Radha Madhava Hari has manifested here. So we take this form as our way of meditation, and then Radha Madhava Hari established inside our heart. So Lord also takes that form, and then in that form they always think of you. Let's read the purport. The statement here that the Lord manifests himself before the devotees in the form in which the devotees like to worship him indicates that the Lord becomes subordinate to the desire of the devotee. so much so that he manifests his particular form as the devotee demands. So, according to devotee's desires, Lord manifests the form, whichever form devotee desire, whether it's a Narsinga form or just regular Radha Krishna. The Lord manifests that form to that particular devotee's heart and it becomes his work. He manifested that particular form to the devotee's demands. Devotee can actually demand this form, and then Lord provides that form for that devotee. This demand of the devotee is satisfied by the Lord because he is pliable in terms of the transcendental loving service of the devotees. Pliable. What is pliable? Okay, okay. Alright. So the Lord becomes so much uh, kind to the devotees that he gives that particular form demanded by devotees for his satisfaction. He is pliable in terms of transcendental loving service of the devotees. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4:11. What is the meaning of this? Meaning of this is, as one surrenders unto me, I reward him accordingly. How much we surrender, in that degree he also gives the heartfelt desires. As all surrenders unto me, I reward them accordingly. We should note, however, that the Lord is never the order supplier of the devotees. Lord is independent, he is not order supplier of devotees, but because out of kindness he does it. But it's not that he's obligated to do it. But his nature is such that he always provides devotees such desires. Here is this verse, here in this verse it is particularly mentioned Tam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita. This indicates the efficiency achieved through execution of mature devotional service or prema love of Godhead. The form that Lord manifests is because of mature devotional service performed by the devotees. Unless one performs devotional service, Lord does not give him particular form. Uh, but as the execution of mature devotional service progresses, so in the love of Godhead, so God also provides him what he wants. This state of prema is achieved by the gradual process of development from faith to love. Various stages of devotional service are there from starts from the faith, but then eventually it comes to the love of Godhead. So that's where various stages are there. Crossing over these various stages, when devotees reach to the love of Godhead, that's the perfection of devotional service. This state of prema is achieved by the gradual process of devotion development from faith to love. On faith, one associates with bona fide devotees, and by such association, one can become engaged in uh, mm, one can engage in bona fide devotional service, which includes proper initiation and the execution of the primary devotional duties prescribed in the revealed scriptures. So how we develop the love of God is first when we have faith, we go near the other devotees, and there they will give us devotional service, and then by following various rules and regulations and execution of devotional service, then proper initiation take place, and when the initiation and everything is done, then primary uh, duties uh, then bona fide devotional service starts, which includes proper initiation. This is clearly indicated herein by the word Shruteksita. The Shruteksita path is to hear from bona fide devotees who are conversant with Vedic wisdom, free from mundane sentiment. The Shruteksita path means listening from the gurus, listening from higher devotees, listening from those who knows the knowledge clearly, and if we clearly hear it and keep it in our heart, then uh, then we become conversant in the knowledge. The Sutista path is to hear from bona fide devotees who are conversant with Vedic wisdom, free from mundane sentiment. By this bona fide hearing process, the neophyte devotee becomes cleansed of all material rubbish, and thus he becomes attached to one of the many transcendental forms of the Lord as described in the Vedas. Vedas means Bhagavad Purana describes many various forms. On these various forms, devotee can choose one of them after he reaches to the prema level and become attached to that form. Just like for us, Radha Madhav Hari has manifested here, same way, uh, whichever form you like, there are many various forms that are uh, made by devotees. So these and manifested by the Lord Himself. So one of the form we have to keep it in our heart always and think of it. And if we do that, then we become attached to that particular form. This attachment of the devotees of the Lord is due to natural inclination. It happens automatically by natural inclination. You don't have to do a lot of things, but just naturally it takes place. Each and every living entity is originally attached to a particular type of transcendental service because he is eternally the servitor of the Lord. Devotees who come to a devotional path, they choose particular service, just like somebody likes to cook in the kitchen, other wants to do deity worship, other wants to go out do books, or somebody does harinam. So this way, particular service is more dear to particular devotees, and we are attached to that service. And this happens because of devotees' previous activities. Previously, they have done particular service, so that same service becomes more palatable than any other service. So whichever service we are doing, we have to be more efficient on that. And if we do that, then everything is done. We don't have to cover everything, but do one particular service more nicely and effectively, and then that suffice the service. Lord Chaitanya says that the living entity is eternally a servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. Jiver Swarup Hai Nitya Krishna Das. Lord Chaitanya has pronounced this verse that our eternal uh, constitutional position is we are eternally the servant of Krishna. Jiver Swarup. What is our identity? We are eternally the servitor of Sri Krishna. Therefore, eternal servitor of Supreme Personality of God Sri Krishna. Therefore, every living entity has a particular type of service relationship with the Lord eternally. Eternally, particular service is designated because of various particular service that we have done in previous lives. So this life also will be attached to particular service, just like DT service or kitchen service or many other services are there. So they are because of previous actions. The particular the particular attachment is invoked by a practice of regulative devotional service to the Lord, and thus the devotee becomes attached to the eternal form of the Lord. Regulative devotional service, and thus the devotee becomes attached to the eternal form of the Lord. Exactly like one who is already who is already eternally attached. This attachment for a particular form of the Lord is called Swarupa Siddhi. Swarupa Siddhi is like devotee is attached and expert in particular service. And this particular attachment is called the Swarupa Siddhi. Swarupa means is a constitutional position. Siddhi means perfection. The Lord sits on the lotus heart of the devotees in the eternal form from the pure devotee's desires, and thus the Lord does not part from the devotee as confirmed in the previous verse. So when such a service is done in devotional service, the Lord sits in that particular form forever in the devotee's heart, and then he is not apart from the devotee as confirmed in the verse. The Lord, however, does not disclose himself to a causal or inauthentic worshipper to be exploited. But as for mm, non-devotees or devotees not attached to the particular form of the Lord also does not reveal himself, or uh, unauthentic worshipper cannot get such a vision of the Lord in his heart, because they can exploit the form of the Lord. That's why Lord does not sit in his heart. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7:25. Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavrita. I do not manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. Naham prakasha sarvasya. Not for everyone. The Lord does not reveal himself to everyone. Only Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanabanmam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlava. Only after many births and deaths, one who comes to the knowledge surrenders unto me, saying Vasudeva is everything. Only for such a devotee the Lord reveals. For non-devotees, the Lord does not reveal such a particular form or any other devotional activities. He doesn't reveal himself to everyone. He covers by his internal energy, and thus the person does not understand the Lord's glories. Rather, by Yoga Maya, the Lord remains concealed to the non-devotees or causal devotees who are serving their sense gratification. So as long as our mind is still on this sense gratification, then Lord does not reveal himself. Lord remains hidden to non-devotees. Even if we start some devotional service, that helps revealing more, but he doesn't fully manifest to those who have not done enough service previously in this lifetime. The Lord is never visible to the pseudo devotees who worship the demigod in charge of universal affairs. Just like Vedavadi, you know, in India there are many Vedavadis people are there. They read Vedas. So for them there are many very demigods. Do this sacrifice for this satisfaction of Indra, do that satisfaction for the satisfaction of Vayu, and do this one for Agni. Various forms are explained in the Vedas. And then those who are attached to this sort of worship kill themselves. In the Vedas, many various demigods, 33 million demigods are mentioned, but and among these various demigods, Krishna is also mentioned. So person is not quite clear what to do, so they worship everybody. And when you worship that way, the Lord don't reveal himself. He just gives the understanding of many various demigods. So demigods are people just like you and me, but because of their previous service, they are elevated to such a position and they have power over human beings. So if you worship them, some particular gain is achieved, but it's all temporary, and these gains comes from Krishna also. Krishna himself provides, and then through devas they get it. Pure devotees of the Lord, he doesn't have to go through that. He directly worships the Supreme Person, and then he gets this benefit automatically. As for rest of the devotees, the Lord understanding of many various demigods who are in charge of universal affairs, just like Yamaraj is in charge for the day, Indra is in charge for the rain, Vayu is in charge for the wind. So these various demigods are there. The conclusion is that the Lord cannot become the order supplier of Kesura devotees, but is always prepared to respond to the desire of a pure, unconditional devotee who is free from all sins of material infection. So the Lord is not a order carrier of anyone. In fact, He is the worshipable Lord of everyone. But as for the devotees, He willingly gives such a knowledge, such a form, service to the surrendered devotees. As for those who are not fully full-fledged surrender and those who are Asuda devotees, the Lord doesn't reveal Himself. He hides by His internal potency, and thus the non-devotees cannot understand what's going on, and he is not attached to particular form, so he doesn't get the benefit. Let's read one more verse. नाति प्रसीदति तथोपचितोपचारैराराधितसुरगणैर्हृदि बद्धकामैः दयया सदलभ्यैको नानाजनेषु वैतः सुहृदन्तरात्मा. My Lord, you are not very much satisfied by the worship of the demigods, who arrange for your worship very pompously with various paraphernalia, but who are full of material hankerings. You are situated in everyone's heart as the super soul just to show your causeless mercy, and you are the eternal well-wisher, but you are unavailable for the non-devotees. So in this prayer, demigods are mentioned. The demigods are very rich. It explains the reason where demigods live is a full of richness. They have like gold all over the bank of the rivers, you know, gold and silvers and things like that all over the bank of the river, and such a opulence. They have river flowing with the uh, honey or ghee or milk. So such opulence is where the demigod live. So for such a rich situation they live, and their body is beautiful always. Body does not have any wrinkles or anything. They live for many thousands of years and never getting old or anything. Such is their opulence. And then they worship the Lord with such opulence. But the Lord is not satisfied by such a worship. The Lord sees the austerity of a devotee. Just having a opulence does not mean you can just please the Lord. The Lord is pleased by heartful prayer and austere life. If you have opulence, you can give it to the Lord, but these demigods who are so opulent, who have every kind of facilities, but the Lord is not fully satisfied with their worship. but who are full of material hankerings. So the reason why he is not happy is they are full of material hankerings. So that's the problem of uh, demigods, that they have everything, great opulence, but they still have a lot of hankering. They are not free from material hankering. As for pure devotees, they don't have such hankerings, so the Lord automatically becomes dear to him. There are rich people in the world, but their opulence, they can perform such great worship also. But as long as the heart is not pure, just wanting the Lord Himself, that sort of understanding is not there, but by the worship we want something other benefit, then Lord is not enthusiastic on such a worship. Although He provides some sort of facility according to what you offer, but but He is not satisfied fully with such a worship. You are situated in everyone's heart as the super soul just to show your causeless mercy, and you are the eternal well wisher. The Lord is the eternal well wisher. There is only one good well wisher for everyone, and that is the Lord Himself. But you are unavailable for the non devotees. As for the non devotees are concerned, the Lord is completely unavailable. There are people who don't read about God, they don't put attention, and for them the Lord is unavailable. Lord does not exist. And then non-devotee worship, mm, the the demigod and other people who are hankering for material thing, if they offer something to the Lord gives the benediction, but he is not satisfied with that worship. But as for pure devotees who has God in his heart full place, for such a devotee, the Lord is forever uh, revealed himself in his heart, and also reveals from outside and inside that how he exists. It is apparent that we all devotees have various experiences in devotional life. We feel the Lord's presence many, many times. Why it is so? Because He reveals the devotees that how He exists. And then this revelation is the everything that devotees get. For non-devotees, such a revelation is not there, so he can't develop a faith, and he remains apart from the devotees of the Lord. As for devotees, he he reveals, and this way his devotional service progresses rapidly, and he is the eternal well-wisher. Purport: the demigod in the celestial heavenly planets who are appointed administrators of the material affairs are also devotees of the Lord, but at the same time they have desires for material opulence and sense gratification. The Lord is so kind that He awards them all sorts of material happiness more than they can desire, but He is not satisfied with them because they are not pure devotees. So demigods who live in the the material heaven, uh, they also worship the Lord, but they are full of material hankering. Such a position is there where every opulence exists, but still material desires have not gone. So that's why their worship the Lord does not accept, because they are not pure devotees. The Lord does not want any one of His innumerable sons, the living entities, to remain in the material world of threefold miseries, to perpetually suffer the material pains of birth, death, old age, and disease. The Lord does not want mm, any living entity to suffer, but the suffering is there. So until we reach to the human form and we come to the knowledge, suffering continue to exist. Uh, Especially in the human birth, death, old age, and disease are the main problems that continually torture us. So this uh, the Lord does not want devotees to uh, suffer this sort of difficulties. The demigods in the heavenly planets and many devotees on this planet also want to remain in the material world as devotees of the Lord and take advantage of material happiness. They do so at a risk of falling down to the lower status of existence, and this makes the Lord dissatisfied with them. While Lord does not favor the demigods and other material hankering people, he does not favor them with devotional service because if uh, they don't suffer, they don't mm, progress toward the devotional service. That's why Lord puts them in such a condition, such a way that except devotional service, there is nothing that remains. So this way, uh, they will progress towards devotional service. If he doesn't do that, then the highest living entity like demigods can also degrade himself to the lower status of the living entity. So that's why Lord mm, does not encourage such devotees on their material hankerings. And this makes the Lord dissatisfied with them because of they fall down to the lower status by these material desires. That's why our Lord is dissatisfied with such a desire. Pure devotees are not desirous of any material enjoyment, nor are they averse to it. They completely dovetail their desires with the desires of the Lord and perform nothing on their personal account. Devotee does not do anything on his own because once you know the knowledge, then you want to work with that knowledge. Once you come to the Bhagavad understanding, Gita understanding, then these principles of religion continually exist in your mind and you want to work with that knowledge. And that if you work with that knowledge, then that's the desire of the Lord also. It is not devotee's desires. But if we don't work with the Bhagavad understanding, then our desires are still material. But once we are there, then that desire that comes from the devotees of the Lord who have accepted Bhagavatam principle in his head is the desire of the Lord himself, you know. So and this way this devotee's desire also becomes like the Lord's desire. Arjuna is a good example. On his own sentiment due to family affection, Arjuna did not want to fight, but finally, after hearing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, he agreed to fight in the interest of the Lord. At the beginning, how much Arjuna was telling, these family traditions, uh, our family will be ruined, and then uh, when the men die in the battlefield, then women become widow, and then there may be unwanted population in the families. Many kind of argument he put forward not to fight. But when Lord spoke the Bhagavad Gita fully, then Arjuna could understand the whole thing. Then he said, I do whatever you wish to do. So then he obeyed the Lord's order and he fought. And this way, the great war of Mahabharata was has happened, and then eventually Arjuna comes out victorious. So, and that desire of fighting is the desire of the Lord, because Lord Krishna wanted this war to happen. So that's why he, in the middle of the battlefield, he explained the whole Gita to Arjuna right at the moment when he has to fight. So that desire that he fought is the Lord's desire, not Arjuna's own desire. Because karma, one has to do his particular duty. You cannot be free from duties. But without attachment, one does his duty, is the best person. Even if there are desires, if perform devotional service is performed, the Lord fulfills their desires, and later on the desires are gone, no more. So Arjuna performed this duty without attachment, so that's why Lord appreciated his duty. he, he fought in the interest of the Lord. Therefore, the Lord is very much satisfied with pure devotees because they do not act for sense gratification but only in terms of the Lord's desire. Sense gratification is not there. That's the main reason that devotees don't desire sense gratification. As Paramatma or Super Soul, he is situated in everyone's heart, always giving everyone the chance of good counsel. Thus, everyone should take the opportunity and render transcendental loving service to him wholly and solely. So here Prabhupada mentions that we should perform the devotional service wholeheartedly and solely because the Lord is always there. The Lord is there in devotee's heart and also in non-devotee's heart. According to their desire, the Lord gives fulfillment. As for devotees' desires are all on the basis of the knowledge of the Lord. So devotees desires the Lord and nothing else. Because devotees, once he comes to the knowledge, what he desires? He desires the Lord. And that desire is the Lord's desire. But in any case, the Lord gives the opportunity to render loving service to the Lord. The non-devotees, however, are neither like the demigods nor like the pure devotees, but are averse to the transcendental relationship with the Lord. They have revolted against the Lord and must perpetually undergo the reactions of their own activities. Why we come over here? Because here Prabhupada says we have revolted with the Lord, and that's why Lord does not reveal to karmi people. They are not like demigods either. Demigods knows God very properly, and then they have desires, but they know God very properly, and they work with that desire. As for karmis, they are not in the demigod category, nor in devotees category. They are averse to the transcendental relationship with the Lord. And then this happened because of they revolted against the Lord, and because of that, they must go to react, undergo perpetually undergo the reaction of their own activities. Karma takes place here. Bhagavad Gita 4:11 states, "Ethamam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham." As one surrenders unto me, I reward them accordingly. Although the Lord is equally kind to every living being, the living beings for their own part are able to please the Lord to either a greater or lesser extent, depending on one's understanding how much advanced we are. We perform devotional service. Every living entity can perform devotional service in their own part. And that part, whether you perform greater service or lesser extent. Hanuman was bringing a big mountain because he is more powerful. It says that there was a squirrel, he was also bringing a little bit of dust to throw it in the ocean. So according to one's capacity, one performs devotional service. And when somebody, Hanuman, saw, hey, you squirrel, you bringing such a little drop of mud to throw it in the ocean, but I bring bigger mountains, But the Lord, later on, Lord comes and he says, no, his service is equal to your service. So according to one's capacity, whether a squirrel brings a little bit of mud to throw it in the ocean or Hanuman brings great mountains and throw it in the ocean, it's the same service. According to one's capacity, one performs the devotional service. It doesn't matter what you perform, you know, equal to the Lord. Mm. Greater or lesser extent. The demigods are called Sakama devotees, or devotees with material desire in mind, while the pure devotees are called Niskama devotees because they have no desires for their personal interest. So here we can see demigods, when you have ocean of milk, you have rivers flowing with the milk and yogurt and honey and ghee. So you can perform much greater. If we had, rivers of milk, we would be making much more paneer. And so we can understand these devotees, demigods, must be performing yajna with such pompous way that we can't imagine. We have to buy milk we have to see where the cheaper milk is. Safeway had a cheaper milk the other day. So we look for the cheaper milk. As for them, there is no cost. It's all river. So they must be performing such a way that we can't imagine, how they perform. There must be like thousands of bucket of paneer sabji for the demigod. Yeah. But but then even though they do such a service, the Lord is not enthusiastic about that service. Does not get become satisfied because they are not pure devotees. They are hankering for something gain. They do this, so something else will come to them. So that's why they have a hankering very prominently in their heart. Human beings are much better. Human beings, they know life is not easy. It's always difficulty. So we act that way better. Rather, we surrender to the Lord. Whatever He gives is fine. We must do whatever little capacity we have, and whatever Lord gives is fine. So this is a much better understanding. That's why Lord put human birth as going to back to Godhead. Humans can come back to Godhead easily. It explains how Lord is very kind to the human being because their body is filled with passion and many other desires. But with these desires, having these desires, if one performs devotional service, giving up all these desires, then Lord is very kind. He takes the devotees to the spiritual planet right from the human birth. So the demigods desire human birth in the material world. Demigods are over there, they are doing such a pompous service with such great opulence, but then their desire is to come to the material world and become a real human being who perform devotional service. That's what they desire. So it's human body with devotional service is much greater than demigod's body. It's bigger than Indra, because Indra has many desires. And devotees like Devesham Prabhu, he has no material desire. He just performs devotional service with no expectation. So he is more than Indra. He is a pure devotee. All devotees, not just one I'm just talking. But all devotees who have come to the knowledge and performing devotional service without great expectation, they are pure devotees. They will be promoted to the eternal place for eternal life, transcendental life, full of bliss, full of happiness. The Sakama devotees are interested because they do not think of others, and therefore they are not able to satisfy the Lord perfectly, whereas the pure devotees take the missionary responsibility of turning non-devotees into devotees, and they are They are therefore able to satisfy the Lord more than the demigods. Here we can see Sakama devotees, Niskama devotees. Niskama devotees who have no material desires, Sakama devotees are more like demigods. Here also in the material world there are Sakama devotees. If you ask people to give some money or some devotional service, they always expect something. Just like we make life members, and then if we ask them money, then there is, we'll give a set of books for you. You know, they expect life members always expect to go to the ISKCON's guest house and they want to live there peacefully. So this sort of expectations are there. That's why Prabhupada said in every ISKCON temple we should have guest house for life members. So these people who give money to become life member, they expect something. Many times they say, I give you so much money. We had a guest house in Nepal temple, and they come and they say, I give 10,000 rupees. Where is my room? They expect, and the rooms are not available. Then they quarrel. There you don't give, you get money, and you don't give nothing. So that kind of expecting something in return instead of its service to the Lord, I should be doing. With my earning, I should help broadcast the message of the Lord rather than expecting the material facility. So these are more like the Sakama people. They have some faith in God, and because of that faith, they give money, but then they expect some other benefit out of it. So that's what is called the Sakama, that you do some service with a lot of desire in the heart. But as for devotees who have surrendered themselves, they don't keep such a desire in the heart. It's all for the service of the Lord. There are some life members who understand. They give money and they don't expect whatever. If devotees provide something, it's fine. If not, they don't care. So these are called niskam devotees. So we find this sort of devotees everywhere. However, he also gives them the chances in receive his mercy through his pure devotees who are engaged in missionary activities. So Lord's activities, missionary activities to spread the knowledge of the Lord, to spread the glories of the Lord, to build temples, and this sort of activities are what is called missionary activities. And those who help such missionary activities are always rewarded by the Lord Himself. Sometimes the Lord Himself descends for missionary activities, as He did in the form of Lord Chaitanya. But mostly He sends His bona fide representative, and thus He shows His causeless mercy towards the non-devotees. Lord Chaitanya is the God Himself in the Kali Yuga. Uh, Other than that, He preached message of Godhead, and He acted like a devotee, a sannyasi devotee, but it is the Lord Himself. And intelligent people worship Him as God. Others think of Him as great devotee. But He came to spread the message of Godhead. This whole parampara system, this spreading the message of Godhead, all started because of Lord Chaitanya. He asked Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu to go and spread the message of Krishna to every house. This is how preaching activities started. And that same spirit is still there, that we go to people's houses and places and spread the message of Godhead. So, but more than God coming, He sends His pure devotees, like the four acharyas, Ramanujacharya, Vishnu Swami, Madhvacharya, like this pure devotees, they come and they spread the message of Godhead. Prabhupada, Saraswati Thakur, they all came to spread the message of Godhead. They are like eternal associates. The Lord is so satisfied with His pure devotees that He wants to give them the credit for missionary success, although He could do the work personally. Lord can also preach Himself, but usually He sends His representative to do this. And devotees of the Lord, uh, they spread the message of Godhead for the missionary work. This is the sign of his satisfaction with his pure Niskama devotees compared to the Sakama devotees. By such transcendental activities, the Lord simultaneously becomes free from the charge of partiality and exhibit his pleasure with the devotees. Now a question arises, if the Lord is sitting in the hearts of non-devotees, why are they not moved to become devotees? It may be answered that the stubborn non-devotees are like the barren land or alkaline field where no agricultural activities can be successful. So such is the thing that some people will never take message of Godhead. Their heart is such that no matter how many times you tell them, they will not accept it. Some people are like that. They will never accept devotional service, no matter what comes. For such a person, and trying to preach is an offense. Also, there is one offense preaching to the non-devotees about the glories of the holy name, because such a person will never take the message of Godhead. So we should not even preach such a people. We should leave him alone, because just like the barren land, no matter how much water you put, it will never give any grains. We cannot grow food stuff in some land. It's like some desert. There is you can never grow anything, no matter how much endeavor you put. So same thing is compared here with the non-devotees, that their heart will never melt uh, for the message of Godhead. So such a thing is not successful. As part and parcel of the Lord, every individual living entity has a minute quantity of independence, and by misuse of this minute independence, the non-devotees commit offense after offense to both the Lord and his pure devotees engaged in missionary work. So minute independence is there. You can perform devotional service or you may not perform your devotional service. You have a right. Lord is not going to force you to become devotees or non-devotees. You have a minute independence that you can choose. But choosing this minute independence to remain non-devotees is a great harm, because then you perpetually stay in material existence, while choosing this minute independence to serve the Lord culminates in devotional service, and you open your path to back to Godhead. As a result of such act, they become as barren as an alkaline field where there is no strength to produce. So if we read some people, they have such, such heart that it can never melt, that is alkaline, like a barren as an alkaline field, there is nothing we can produce. Same way the heart of non-devotees are like that. It will never melt. Sometimes, when devotees explain devotional service, our heart start to get melted. So that's a devotee's heart. Whenever some good topic comes, whenever some good devotees comes, and when we see people suffering, devotee's heart start to melt. Oh, this person should not be suffering. That's the devotee's heart. Other people, no matter what happens, their heart will never melt. Such people exist. And then that is just like a barren land that can never produce anything. Hare Krishna. You have any comment? श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।